Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum class. Welcome to English grade 8. Today students we are going to talk about our writing competency. And we are going to talk about narrative writing. So let's dive into our lecture today. This is our lecture 6B and we are going to talk about narrative writing. Now, let's read our learning outcome and see what we are supposed to do. Write narratives to develop real or imagined experiences or events using effective techniques, relevant descriptive details, and well-structured event sequence. Now, we know that students, there are different types of writing. One of them is narrative writing, where we write in the form of a story. It can be real, non-fictional, or imagined, which means fictional experiences or events. You are going to narrate them. You are the narrator of this writing. We are going to see there are some techniques like writing in a very descriptive way so that everything is explained to the reader with description so that they can get the image in their mind. There are well-structured event sequences. It means that we have to follow a pattern of events. What happened first, then what happened. So all that cause and effect relationship and all these events should be in a very logical sequence, whether it is fictional or non-fictional. Now, we want to write such narratives. So let's learn them and learn them with some examples. Here is your vertical linkage, and for the brainstorming session today, students, you have to think about a time when something unexpected happened to you. Unexpected means something out of the ordinary, out of the blue, that you were not ready for. How did it make you feel? What did you learn from the experience? Now, after recalling such an event or such an experience, you have to write a story about it, focusing on the emotions and lessons you gained. What was your emotional condition, what you went through, and what did you learn from it so that you don't make that mistake again, or you be ready for that in case if it happened again. And what is the main message or lesson that you want to share with people, with your readers? I hope, students, that now you have gained that in your mind. You have actually thought about it. And now, how do we write it? We need to tell a story. It means we have to have a beginning, a middle, and also an end. Let's see. Here is an example of a narrative writing. It means that this is actually based on a real event or experience. You can know it by reading it if it is fictional or not. And you can see that the author has used descriptive language and comprehensive language in order to convey the idea. So this is our example. This is written in the first person narrative. The storyteller is actually the main protagonist, the narrator of the story. And how do you know this is a first person? By seeing the pronoun I or me. Okay. I always dreamed of working in my family's business. Growing up, I always pictured myself working as an accountant, diligently helping people arrange their finances and file their taxes, just like I saw my parents do for years. It never occurred to me I could choose my own career path until I took a volunteer tutoring position in high school. As I began helping young students reach their learning objectives, I realized teaching could give me something accounting couldn't, and that's fulfillment. Now, this is a real life experience. What do we learn from it? The writer is telling us that he was about to join the family business, meant to be an accountant, but he realized that teaching is the best job for him because it suits him and he is passionate about it. So choosing the right path the right career is very much important. We learned the lesson that you have to see what is your potential, what do you enjoy doing the most, and then choose your career accordingly. And also, obviously, this is with discussion with your parents, letting them know what you want and all that things. So we learned this lesson. This is a story. How? Because it has a start. I always dreamed of working in my family's business growing up. So it has a gradual logic. This is having a flow. So it means in your writing, in your narratives, you have to follow something, and you have to follow the same and write a event which is in the form of a sequence. So now let's talk about another example. This is an experience of the writer. It is based on real life. I was alone at home and decided to explore the attic, the upper side of the house. Attic means just like there is a basement to the house, there is an attic where you keep your stuff and store your materials. I was alone at home and decided to explore the attic. I got stuck in a secret room. I was scared and didn't know what to do. Luckily, my neighbor found me and helped me get out. Later, I realized I should have asked someone for help before going into the attic. It was a scary experience, but I learned a lesson about asking for help. So, this is telling us that we must ask for help in order to do when we are about to do something that is out of the ordinary or maybe a little bit risky. So the author narrated his experience or her experience in a very logical way, and you can learn a lot from it. In the same way, you want to write your narratives, your real life experience just like this, any lesson that you learned, and write it in the form of telling a story so that the readers are engaged and they are interested in hearing you or reading you. Alright, after learning about narratives with 2 examples, let's talk about your classroom activity. You can open your book and see this related exercise with your main lesson. You have to write about a time when you were in trouble or problem and handled it yourself. Later, you realized that you should have told someone so you wouldn't have to suffer as much. There are some rules that you need to follow. First, you have to use sequential order. It means that you cannot start it from the end, but you have to start it just like you tell somebody a story. The sequence is very much important. The order is very much important. Secondly, you have to use specific adjectives and adverbs to describe your things and manners and other things. Then you have to use appropriate tense. If you're telling the story in the past, then you have to stick to the past tense. Use appropriate transitional devices or transitional words like therefore, however, anyway, etc. All these transitional devices are very much important in your narrative writing. And finally, you have to include quotations, actual words and thoughts and emotions of the participants of the action. What did you think about that time? So you have to use the quotation marks for reported speech or direct speech. And in this way, you can tell a very good narrative from your real life, and you can write a very good narrative writing piece. Now, for your homework, students, you have to create a fictional narrative now, not real, rather imagined, using the following prompt. This is your topic or prompt. Pretend that you are a superhero for a day. Write a narrative about a day in the life of a superhero. What if you suddenly possess any superpower? Now narrate the whole day in that manner. Who did you help? What power did you get? And what was your feeling? This is all imaginary. It is fictional because narratives can be As we know, it can be fictional and non-fictional. Not only you're going to practice non-fictional narratives, but you're also going to practice fictional narratives as well. So this is a very interesting prompt, students. I hope that you will have great time writing about these two. This is your worksheet where you have to solve it. This is about narrative writing, correcting, and also learning more about it. These are your resources, students. I hope that we have achieved our learning outcome, which was about writing. So do not hesitate. Get your pen or pencil, get your notebook, and just start writing. Do not worry about the mistakes. Do not worry about getting anything wrong. Your teacher will correct you. But all you have to do is just start writing. And then you can correct your mistakes. You can consult dictionary for spellings. You can consult the grammar, your grammar book, your English book that you have for correction of sentence structure, and you can then correct it and write it for the second time or third time till you get it correct. So you have to submit these two narratives, the classwork and the homework, to your teacher so that you can be assessed. Thank you so much, students. I'll see you in the next video lesson. Allah Hafiz.